Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Katie Weaver Show. This is Katie. I'm your host. I'm so happy to be here. If you are listening live, it is the 15th of April at about 11 a.m. Pacific time. If you're listening to an archive or a replay, I also want to welcome you to the show. I want to let you know you can find me over in the chat room by heading over to 12radio.com. Click on the chat button, and you'll be redirected into the Facebook chat. You'll see lots of other people chatting over there, and you'll see my banner at the top of the page. You're welcome to leave a comment or a question there, and I have my eyes on it. I'll certainly see it. I'm also live streaming this event, and you can find that at YouTube or Facebook. Just look for Katie Weaver Domestic Mystic, and you can find the live stream. And I have a ton to show you today, so you might very well want to just be in the chat room, or sorry, in the live stream, so that you can see what's up. So I hope you're well. I had bronchitis last week, so I have a little coffee. Hopefully, I can keep that in check. But I'll stay heavy on the mute button, so I don't cough in your ear, or at least I'll try. But at any rate, so if I'm a little hoarse, that's probably why. But how was the full moon for you guys? How did you do? I got to be honest. In my line of work, it really gives me an opportunity to kind of have a window into the collective, how people are doing. And this full moon was pretty angsty. Lots of anxiety, lots of kind of fear-based thinking. Not fear-based thinking, but kind of. A lot of anxiety for people and worrying about their futures and what's going on in the world and stuff. So I definitely witnessed that with quite a few of my clients and family members too. So I am curious to know how you guys did and if you're doing better now. I have exciting news, mostly for myself, but I'm excited to share it. You know that I have my Etsy store, and I'm a creator of various things. And I've been trying to find an idea, a way, a thought in my head in how to organize myself a little bit better as far as being an artist is concerned or a creator is concerned. And one thing I see other people doing that I think is probably smart and useful is that they do a monthly drop. So they kind of create up throughout the month, and then they have one day of the month where they drop their new merchandise for the month, their new product. And I thought that was really smart. I thought maybe that would help me to stay a little bit more focused, because this wild ADD brain is just everywhere. So that's what I've done. So today is my first drop. So this is my April drop. And I'm really excited for it. I will say not everything I have to show you is even available because some of it's already sold, which is also exciting. The most exciting thing about selling some things on Etsy is the opportunity for me to create more things. So I put a link in both chat rooms, but you can find this by heading over to Etsy and looking for Katie Weaver, or for Joyful Goddess Designs is my shop. And you can find my drop there. And if you could just go to my page, there's a spot where all my sections are, and at the bottom one is April drop. Not that everything in my store isn't for sale, but if you want to see specifically what's in this drop, that's where you would do it. But I'm going to show you quite a few things as well. So I want to show you, I'm going to give you a little tour. These are these beautiful little drop vases. They can be vases. I think they're too narrow for vases or too shallow, so I just named them candle holders, but they could also just be a little trinket dish or anything you wanted. Or if you had a little glass bottle you wanted to slide inside and make it into a bigger vase, you could do that. But I did a blue one. And a yellow one. And so they're a little butterfly wing thing. I love these. They are really beautiful. The way they shine in the light is really pretty. I'm thrilled with the way these turned out. So you can find these. They're both still available there. This was my first. I've never done a drop vase before. Uh, yeah, I was super excited to try these and more excited when I opened the kiln and they worked beautifully. They did what they were supposed to do. And thank goodness. I have a couple of new keys. I like to, I've been doing this for a minute, but making winged keys. And these ones are dragon wings. I've got two of them. This one's a little bit smaller, but I love this. The glass it's this iridescent purple. You can see it's real purpley on the back. On the front, it has this iridescence, but it looks like labradorite flash to me, which I think is really special. So there's this key, this a little bit smaller, and then there's this one that's a little bit bigger, with bigger, longer, or bigger, wider wings. That's what she looks like. Yeah, I love these a lot. I made two really big ones too that I'm not going to put on Etsy. I think they're fine to just like take to local events and sell. I'm scared about shipping them. They just, I don't know. They're just that fragile enough that I'm afraid that shipping them might be a mistake. So I'm not going to put them on Etsy because I just think shipping might make me unhappy. Then I did two new plates for this drop. There's this cute little red one. Isn't she cute? The flower centers are all dichroic glass, which is this fancy shiny glass, or like metallic glass essentially. And then two of the flowers are translucent red, and then the other four are more of a solid red. But I think she's really cute, really pretty, kind of tropical feel. And then the other plate is this teal and purple swirly glass, and then some teal transparent glass as well in the flowers. And the swirly glass, their centers are this really pretty greenish dichroic glass that's really shiny and pretty. So I really like this one, the way it turned out. I like both the plates a lot, actually, but I was pleased with them. And then I'm going to show you this one, even though it's already sold, just because I love it so much. But this was a piece of stained glass we put together for this drop. Isn't she beautiful? But she was one of the first things that sold in the drop, so she's not there now, but I'll probably make another one because I love the way that one turned out. And then lastly, the bee bowls. These I think are so dang much fun. So they're a little bowl mounted on a stick on a little stainless steel spike to go in your gardens, and they are for bees to get drinks and other winged things, pollinators to get drinks. But they're so much fun, and these have got a little bit of they've got a little flower inside of them, so they've got a little bit of a ridge, but you might throw a few more things in there too. You want to have landing spots for bees so that they can get drinks without drowning. So, but just little things like this in your garden will catch a little bit of natural water. You can splash a little water in them too when you're watering, but a little bit of drinks like this for the pollinators is a really kind thing to do, but it also can be really helpful. Our pollinators are struggling a lot. But I had an absolute blast making these. I'll show them all to you. I'm also going to make some of these out of pottery. I'm working on that. Yeah, the large blue piece with crystals is a suncatcher, Sid. Yeah. This red one with the green center. I think it's cute. So And they're perfectly imperfect. They did what glass do. So some of them are a really great solid bowl and some of them aren't, but it doesn't matter because you don't need a lot of water in these. They're perfectly imperfect. The only one I didn't post is this blue one because it really missed the mark. I'm just going to put it in my own garden. I love the look of it. It just didn't bowl out at all. So this is the one thing I didn't post. But I really, really like the way these turned out. I think they're so much fun. Just a fun idea too, I think. I had a blast making these, which says a lot because when I first started doing glass, cutting circles and making them look decent was like the hardest thing I could possibly think of doing. And now I can just sit down and whip out a whole pile of circles and it's no big deal. So I have grown. Anyway, I really love these. I'm happy with the way they turned out. So happy. So, anyhow, that's a fun gift or a fun thing to put in your own garden. But of course, don't forget that Mother's Day is coming, so you may want to consider that, you know, to gift yourself or somebody else. So, there you go. That's pretty much it. So, again, you can find my whole April drop if you head over there. I've got quite a bit of jewelry posted there too from my last fair. All the jewelry, well, it's really all the jewelry that I've been working on putting together since the end of December. So my favorite pieces went up here. So that's all. So now I get to start thinking about next month's drop. We'll see how this works out. Yeah. Oh, that's a good idea, Sid. She said maybe she can attract some dragonflies too. Yeah. Right. They should be a lot easier to keep clean than bird baths. Agreed. Yeah, because they're just little. And the glass ones, unless you live in a place where it gets really cold, even then, I left all of my glass in my garden last year and it all is fine this spring. But something like this that holds water, I would either invert it or take it in for the winter so it doesn't break. Only because if it gets full of water and the water freezes, you're running the risk of it breaking for that reason. Just getting hot or just getting cold, the glass is impermeable to that. But if you have water get into it and freeze, yeah, you could potentially break it. But otherwise, they should be super, super sturdy and they won't fade either. So they should hold up really well. So there you go. Okay. Well, moving forward, I was going to work on the Ogam this week. Uh, I've showed you mine before, but there's a divination system called Ogam Staves that is uh, a super, super old system that I was going to tear into it this week, but then something happened yesterday that changed my mind for now. And it led me to the elephant. So you might know what I'm talking about. You may have already seen this, but I want to share a video with you. This was filmed yesterday at the San Diego Zoo during an earthquake. And the elephants, you can see the quake, and you can see the elephants react and kind of look around for the danger. And then they do a thing that researchers call an alert huddle or an alert circle, where they circle up their babies, the little ones, and all the adults kind of corral them into a circle and stand watch to make sure that they're safe. It's just a really cool moment, so I wanted to share that with you. So you could see the shake there, and then they're kind of looking around to see if they can see what the danger is. Now see how they just circle right up. Yep, get that little one right in the middle of them. And just create this safe space. And they hold this position for quite a while. until they feel like the danger has passed. The community of elephants, I think, is utterly amazing, and the things that they do. If you ever, have the opportunity to watch videos with elephants, particularly like in the wild, the way they protect their young, everybody's young, is pretty amazing. Yeah, Tara in the chat says elephants communicate through their feet too. They feel the vibrations from other elephants. Yeah, right. So imagine what an earthquake feels like to them. For sure. I'm going to back it up just a second so you can see the very beginning, so you can see the earthquake part again. See right there. Isn't that wild? Yeah. So that got me thinking about elephants from a spiritual perspective. We've looked at a lot of, like last year we did winged things, which is great, but we've never really talked about elephants. So I thought this would be a very good day for it, since they're just out here setting all the examples. So I'm going to take just a minute here to get Luminous pulled up. Well, of course I did a elephant cover. Let me put up a link to Luminous as well. All right, just getting a link into the other chat room. Okay. All right, finally. All right, so I called the magazine this week the Elephant Wisdom Edition because that's what we are working on. Um, just talking a little bit in my own notes about it is so beautiful here. It's crazy for April. Wow. So we're actually going to go camping for Easter, which that's goals. That's what we want to do every year. But boy, the last few years it has been completely impossible to do. And so this year it's beautiful. The place that we like to go, sometimes by this time of year floods for a little while. And I hate to say it, it's because we had a mild winter, and a mild winter isn't good for us in general for our water situation. But it doesn't look to me like that river is going to flood this year, and we should be able to camp just fine. And for that, I'm excited. So this is the place we like to camp where there used to be a lot of moose, and there used to be all these piebald moose. That was their markings. I had never seen piebald moose before ever, except for in this one spot. And I mean, I'm sure they are in other places, but for me, I had never seen them before. And they're just amazing. So fingers crossed that we see a moose. Fingers double crossed that we see a piebald, because that would rock my world. And that there is a mama that's kind of back on that in that back corner of that spot that we like to go, and I've seen her there with babies before, lots of times, and we've seen piebalds there with her before. So really, really hoping that we see moose this time. That's the highlight of that trip for me, if we can get a chance to see a moose or two. So I'm trying to share a picture of the piebald moose with you so that you can see what I'm talking about. Well, maybe we'll get there. Here we go. Yeah, like that. So the piebald sometimes are all white with just a few little spots, but basically they're spotted. And sometimes they're blue-eyed, which I would never probably know because we'd definitely not get that close. But anyway, so fingers and toes crossed that we get to see some moose because that would be amazing. All right, well, let's talk about the elephant. If you've ever locked eyes with an elephant, and have you, either in person or through a photo, I have. Uh, from an animal communication perspective, animal or elephants have some of the most amazing energy I have ever experienced. Ancient, sentient, wise, can see straight through your bullshit. Yes, all of it. They do have an ancient magic. There's a reason people are so drawn to elephants. I can't imagine whenever you talk about elephants, people will always say, "Oh, I love elephants," right? Have you ever talked to anyone who said, "Oh, I hate elephants"? No, you have not, because who hates elephants? Well, maybe someone, but you know what I mean. People have an inherent draw to elephants for whatever reason. Unless, okay, let's be fair, unless perhaps you have a past life experience with an elephant that's not satisfactory, right? I could see somebody having an aversion to elephants if you had a past life experience. It's still in your psyche, but anyway, that's a complete aside from our conversation. But so elephants are spiritual symbols. They're teachers, protectors, and reminders of what it means to lead with compassion. In Hinduism, of course, we have the elephant-headed god Ganesha. Ganesha is one of the most widely worshipped deities and collected. A lot of people who maybe aren't necessarily Hindu and don't necessarily even understand who Ganesha is will have a Ganesha. A lot of people are really drawn to this deity. He's known as the remover of obstacles, the patron of new beginnings, and the ultimate guide when life gets messy. So we probably all should have a draw to Ganesha because life is messy. Yeah. When you're launching a new project, moving into a new home, or just trying to get life together, this is a good deity to call on and to connect to. His elephant head isn't just for show, it's symbolic of big thinking, deep wisdom, and the power of listening before acting. In Buddhism, of course, elephants are very sacred. They symbolize mental strength and spiritual fortitude. A wild, untamed elephant represents the restless, distracted mind, while a trained elephant symbolizes focus, presence, and mastery of self. In Buddhism, there's been many references to elephants as metaphors for walking the spiritual path with intention, patience, and humility. African cultures look at elephants as symbols of leadership, family loyalty, and ancient wisdom. We know that elephants are matriarchal in their clans. They're deeply communal. It's all about community with elephants. They have amazing memories. You know that elephants will remember people, like caretakers and whatnot, that they haven't seen for more than 20 years. Elephants and each other. Elephants grieve and mourn. They hold funerals for their fallen. In many tribes, the elephant is considered a keeper of history, one who never forgets the past but also knows when to move forward. I can really see that in elephants and in the feeling of elephants being considered to be the record keeper. I could even, in a land far away, I could imagine elephants being the bard, you know, that held the stories and told them. All right, in the spiritual world, Elephants resonate with the root and sacral chakras, offering grounding, stability, and a sense of belonging. When we invoke elephant energy in meditation or in ritual, you're asking for support with endurance, protection, and inner strength. How do you invoke elephant energy? Well, meditate. Ask that the spirit of elephants join you. Ask that the energy of elephants join you. It's not that hard. It's just a request. Elephants have healthy emotional boundaries. They teach us that. They teach us to be empathetic. We know that they mourn their dead and they comfort their young. We know that they rescue animals in distress, not just elephants, but they will help where they can help. But they're not pushovers. They'll kick your ass if they have to, right? They have boundaries about what you can and can't do. They will protect the herd fiercely, and they are very, very loyal, unshakably loyal. One thing we learn from elephants is the power of the herd, the community. We know that they have this incredibly strong and intuitive sense of community. They don't just live together, they don't just wander around together, they take care of each other emotionally and physically. We know that the females, especially the older matriarchs, they guide the herd, and they do that with wisdom that they've gained over decades because elephants live a really long time. They raise their calves collectively. If somebody's sick, then they slow down and wait. Nobody gets left behind. When an elephant dies, they grieve. And sometimes they'll come back to the spot where that elephant passed for years to come and just mark that spot. There's a lot we can learn from them. We have become so introverted. We've become so independent. I think it's an interesting thing in our culture, in our society. We really prize being on your own, right? Our kids get to be young adults and we expect them, society expects them to get their own place, get out on your own, do your own thing. You have your families. You have many, you could have up to 3 or 4 generations of families living in various areas, but not together because we don't really do that anymore. Sometimes we do through, need. It's usually through economic need. I really prize the cultures where we have many generations that live together and help each other and take care of each other. I wish we were more like that. I really do. I think it would be better for our kids. I think it would be better for our mental health. I know it would be better for our elders the epidemic of loneliness in the United States is one of our biggest epidemics, sadly. So I love what the elephants do because they do exactly that. They do life together and they take care of each other. Whether it's the old lady that or the little teeny ones that are falling in the mud, everybody matters in their herd and everybody is cared for in their herd. Inviting elephant energy into your life. So how do you bring in elephant energy if you feel like you need it or want it? Well, how about in meditation? Many of you over the years have expressed feeling like you had an animal near you in some way, right? Some not in person, though many of you do, but in the spirit world that you feel the presence of a bird on your shoulder or of, a big cat that walks beside you or whatnot. How about an elephant? Imagine what it would be like. Imagine what it would feel like to walk along through life with an elephant walking beside you. So in meditation, visualize an elephant walking beside you, walking through a forest or an open plain, anywhere you choose. And really breathe in, take in that energy. It's slow, it's steady, it's grounded, it's connected to the earth, it's wise. It thinks before it acts. Really allow that energy to imbue into you and to really feel what it feels like to have an animal of that kind of proportion and magnitude near you. How about on your altar? You could add an elephant figurine or image to invite its energy in. Uh, if they have an upturned trunk, that is supposed to symbolize luck, kind of like an upturned horseshoe does. You might consider a journaling prompt. The prompt could be, where do I need to embody quiet strength? What emotional herd am I being called to protect or release? Who do I show up for and who shows up for me? One thing we know about elephants is they don't rush. They walk with certainty and presence. Even when things around them are moving fast, they stay at their pace. It's a good reminder to all of us because this world right now, I think, is happy to let us be frantic, to be, for lack of a better term, running around like chickens with our heads cut off, right? From running from one crisis to the next, or from challenge to the next, or from one stimulation to the next, right? If it's not a video, it's an audio. If it's not an article, it's a meme. If it's not any of those things, perhaps it's some breaking news. There is something to stimulate you and maybe overstimulate you around every corner. And maybe what we need to do is let ourselves be more like the elephant, who is not so easily stimulated, who is not so easily manipulated, and take a few deep breaths. Would be good for all of us. I know it would be good for me. So maybe we can learn to take better care of our herd, just like the elephants do. You know, not the whole herd isn't related. Some of them are just neighbors, right? Some of them have just found themselves together. But they're there for each other, and we need more of that in our world, always. Okay, there is a link here that you can click on. This picture is clickable if you want to go visit my Etsy page. Okay, Kelly, this is the second part of her episode about the Edinburgh 7, and this is her from her Refeminist History blog. And so this is just a little bit more about the women who absolutely forced their way in to be able to become doctors. It's a absolutely profound story. It's amazing. Be sure that you read her article, and then also if you click on the purple hyperlink here, it'll take you to their episode, which is about the Edinburgh 7. So do check that out. Really, really good history. Important stuff. All right, my tip this week is about positive affirmations. One thing I've noticed recently is negative self-talk kind of rearing its head for people. So positive affirmations are a great way to move yourself through some of that. So some reminders about positive affirmations. They should be positive, right? Never, not in the negative. All of the phrasing should be a positive sense. They should be in the first person. 1 to 2 sentences. This is a place where I think people get tripped up with positive affirmations, is they turn it into a book. No. You got to be concise. 1 to 2 sentences, period. And then you need to place it somewhere that you'll see it frequently. Definitely hold it in your head so that you can repeat it to yourself, but go one step further. Write it down at least one place. It can even just be on the lock screen of your phone. You could, put it on a post-it note that you stick on the bathroom mirror or on the fridge or on your monitor to your computer, wherever you spend your time that you feel like that's something that you'll see. Or if you have a whiteboard or something like that where you like to write down an affirmation, you are more than welcome to do that too. But Positive affirmations only work if you're working them. And so you need to see them written so that you can remember to use them, but also just continue to have that in your head. So when you have a positive affirmation formed, then it's your job to repeat it to yourself many times a day. Is this a fake it till you make it? Yes, it is. Not a thing wrong with that. Sometimes you need a little reminder. I am safe. I am well. I am capable. I'm accomplished. I'm smart. Whatever it is that you need to remember. I'm accomplishing my goals. I'm loved. You decide. But whatever it is that you feel like you need to drill down on, turn it into a positive affirmation and then work it. It's an amazing way to shift energy within yourself and outside of yourself as well. Christy's energy exercise this week is Archangel Ariel to heal anxiety. A good one. Like I said, a lot of people are experiencing anxiety this week. It's been a really overarching theme. All right, lots of crime over at True Crime Squad. We are in the Lori Vallow, the heart of Lori Vallow right now. What can I say? We're on day 6 now of her trial, and gosh, it was prospected to be somewhere around a 5-week trial. And great news, it's the state says they're probably going to wrap tomorrow. God, I hope they do. But this has been a go around. Lori is representing herself, and a lawyer, she is not. I don't suppose she's doing much better or worse than any of the rest of us would do in her position, but ooh, the decision to represent herself has been a poor one. They say that he who represents himself has a fool for an attorney or something along those lines. Indeed, yeah. But at any rate, that's all going on over at True Crime Squad if you're interested. And we do a nightly wrap up on that at 6:30 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time every night of the trial to wrap up everything that happened during the day. We'll have plenty to say. She's got the lead detective on the stand this morning and was giving her plenty of sass. So, yeah, it's getting interesting. Jamie Dawn has a new video about this full moon in Libra that we just experienced, so definitely check that out. She's always got some really good wisdom around these topics. Lots of meditations over at Planet Meditation for you to benefit from. And that is luminous this week, so hopefully you find some gems. I wanted to introduce you to a page. This is it's a live stream, and it is an elephant park in Africa. I'm going to put a link in the chat rooms. So it's night there right now, but still, I think you guys want to see this. So there's nothing to see as far as animals right now, but you can hear what it sounds like there, and it's pretty amazing. So this is the African Tembe Elephant Park. So let me share my screen here. All right, so as you can see, it's nighttime there right now, but listen to that. But during the day, they have all kinds of animals that are passing across this camera. I'm going to back it up a little bit. So this was earlier in their stream. I've been keeping an eye on it just for the last little bit, and I've seen all kinds of hoofed things, crossing over. We've got elephants here. There's a ton of different birds. There was a giraffe earlier. Anyway, so this is a fun one to keep an eye on. I know that some of you guys like webcams as much as I do. And this is a pretty cool one. I didn't really want to, there is a webcam from the San Diego Zoo from their elephant park, the one I showed you earlier, which is okay too, but I wanted something a little bit more, in the wild. Which, by the way, are you guys following any of the eagle cams? I follow a bunch of them because I love eagles and I love to see them in the morning or in the spring, having their babies. But oh man, there you go. What do you think those are? I want to say gazelles, but that seems kind of simplistic. I'm not sure. Some little hoofed guys. They're probably not that little. They're just in comparison to the elephant. They look little. Anyhow, but if you do follow the eagle cams, or if you don't, this is a great time to start because, oh my goodness, the babies are getting so big and so cute. So do that if you don't already. That's a great thing to watch. I like something like this just pulled up on the TV. We hardly watch our TV anymore. It seems like I'm usually, if I'm not working or crafting, I'm usually, or doing art, I'm usually reading. And so we just don't use our TV that much. But I like to put something like this up on the screen. That's just nature. Anyway, I think we need more of a return to that and less everything else. Less of the noise, I have to say, though, Mars called me right before the show in absolute disgust because Charlie Kirk is on her college campus today. And somebody approached her wanting to invite her to their debate. She won't go because, she has class anyway, but I don't see her really interested in, attending an event like that. But I did hear her say to one of their organizers that she was embarrassed for them. But it cracked me up when she called me. So disgusted. Just backing up to some comments. Sid said she uses Poop Bag brand. They sell t-shirts to support their elephant rescue. They were able to rescue and rehome Peanut a couple of years ago, and they're working for others. You can find info on their site. Oh, that's awesome, Sid. Laura, you've been sick too? Dang it, man. Yeah, just bronchitis for me. Is it the spring cold? It's probably just the spring cold, right? That's what I think. Sid said, the dysfunctional human aversion to compassion is the only logical reason I can presume that would lead anyone to have hate for or hurt elephants, right? Of course, we have had, a horrible run with poachers. It's amazing to me, places like Gorongosa and other parks like this that have armed guards to protect the elephants, to protect the rhinos and others from those that would kill them just for their ivories. It's really sad. It's sad that that happens. It's sad that people are so desperate that those are things that they're willing to do for money. It's sad that there's a market. It's all sad. But I do think it's amazing that people they value elephants enough that they are willing to pay for and put themselves on the line for protecting them by doing things like providing armed guards. Oh yeah, Jackie said she likes following Jackie and Shadow at Big Bear. Me too. Me too. There used to be some where my daughter was going to college in Miles City. The Miles City Eagles they had an amazing nest. And I know where it's at, so when we were in town, I could go peek up in the trees at it. But they abandoned it last year. And apparently they picked up with a nest down the river, but they didn't have a cam out there. So we just kind of lost track of those guys, which super sucked. But I think it's better. Probably they're safer. Their babies didn't fare very well where they were. They were too close to power lines, and there were some really sad tragedies with their babies. So probably taking them out deeper on the river was a better decision to keep their babies alive. But yeah. Well, we've got a little bit of time here that we certainly could do some readings. If there's anything I can do to help you guys today, if you need a reading or a healing or have a question or a comment. Denise said, my herd right now is mom. Fell and really broke her ankle. Oh no. Then found out she needed a pacemaker. The next day was the plates and screws to put her ankle back together. Acute rehab ending and having trouble deciding skilled nursing setting. Any thoughts on Orchard Park versus Holly Creek? Oh, let's tune into it. Denise, I am so sorry, dang it. She's so lucky she's got you. But I'm so sorry she's suffering. Okay, I'm just going to tune into her. And you. It's Holly Creek. Comes up stronger for me than Orchard Park. There's something about Holly Creek and the interaction with other people that is going to be more positive for her than Orchard Park. All right. Well, Denise, I'm going to put a lot of light around her and around you. To just lift everybody up. Dang it. And a lot of light around that ankle that it'll heal up easily. Okay. Karen. Hey, Karen. She said, if time permits, could I and my house have a cleanse? Feeling negative for a while. Yeah, absolutely. All right, Karen, I'm going to lean in on that. I'm going to get you first, and then we'll move on to your house. Okay. All right. Just some good clearing for you. Your aura is super heavy. I feel like collective energy is really built up on you, as well as just people. Just a lot. A lot of negativity around you. So clearing that, and then I'm going to put some really bright tangerine light around you to help lift you up. Good. And then I'm going to go with your house. I'm going to start at the very lowest point. I am going to invoke a Merkaba clearing, commanding billions of many points of light to flood your home now, completely healing, clearing, and releasing any energy that isn't serving your highest and best good, any energetic influences that could be holding you back or holding you down, or contributing to your space feeling negative or uncomfortable. I'm just commanding these frequencies to be healed and cleared and rendered neutral and inert in all directions of time now. So I'm just going to watch that happen. I like this work because it starts at the very lowest point and then works all the way up through the ceiling, through the roof. So it really just kind of starts at the bottom and carries the debris up and throws it out. If you can envision that. If you don't have a prism or a crystal in one of your windows, I'm going to recommend that you do get one. That helps to just keep sending. If you have a prism that hangs outside a window so that when the sun or when the wind blows, the sun refracts off of that and it sends rainbows throughout your space, that refraction is amazing at breaking up stagnant energy. Also a selenite. somewhere in your home would be helpful if you don't already have one. And you might, Karen, consider something that has a little bit of running water, a little fountain or something like that. They say that needs to be in the entryway, but I'm not that strict about the rules. I'm not much of a rule guy. But a little fountain somewhere with some running water really helps to keep the energy in your space running and moving so that it's not getting stagnant. And then, of course, sound therapy. So, high vibrational music. You don't have to, be blaring it all the time, but occasionally playing some music that lifts you up really helps to break up the stuck stuff as well. Okay, that feels a lot better. All right, so I'm going to hold space with you that we just see that space start to lighten up. And if you haven't, of course, I don't know where you live, but here we're just barely, I finally threw the windows open the last couple of days and, kind of aired the place out and stuff because it's been winter. But make sure you've got some blinds and windows open and you're, letting some fresh air and some sunlight in too. Jean said, anything on my current situation? So many changes. Yeah, but Jean, it feels to me like it's going to be a positive thing. The thing that comes forward for me is that you really take good care of your root chakra during this time. I feel like while you've got all these changes going on, if you don't, you're going to end up feeling like you are uh, really struggling to make a decision. And so, and just unable to like get focused. So with all these changes in play, you commit to yourself that you get outside every day, you get some fresh air, you breathe with the earth a little bit, maybe you carry a dark stone, but really commit to focusing on that root chakra and balancing it frequently. And if you need some help with that, you can always call me over at 12Listen and we can work on it together. But that root's going to be super important so that you feel like you can stay grounded and centered so that you can get through all your changes and get stuff going on. Okay, Sid said, will you explain to Darcy that he needs to let me speak with unfamiliar dog moms before meeting new dogs, and that he has to be calm and not poke his nose in their faces and not throw a tantrum when he can't meet. Yeah, let me see what I can do with Darcy. He's just so excited. So I'm just showing him to remember his manners, to sit and wait, to sit in submission and be polite. I'm also reminding him that you are going to let him meet whatever dogs are safe and appropriate. But that your first job is to make sure that he's safe. So if there's a decision that he's not going to get to hang out with a dog, that's why, and he just needs to understand that. But yeah, he's very excited. All right, so good reminder for Darcy. No promises. He's very excited. But hopefully it's a reminder anyway. All right, last one. Sherry said, will my body temp ever go back to normal? I'm cold, then night sweats, then colder. Oh, Sherry. Yes. Going to take a little bit of time though. Sherry, consider using clary sage oil. Just put it on your pressure points. A lot of people get a lot of help with, or feel like clary sage helps to balance out night sweats a lot. So you can put it on the pressure points inside your wrists. But yes, I feel like the answer is yes, but I do feel like it's going to take a little bit of time. I'm sorry. That's so frustrating and annoying. Alrighty, well, I think we've pretty much done it. I do want to remind you that I'm a professional psychic advisor over at 12Listen.com, and you can find me over there every day doing readings and healings and everything in between. So if you need to connect with me, I'll be over there for the rest of the day. And again, that's 12Listen.com. It's number 2Listen.com. And I would be happy to help you. I can give you a reading, I can give you some energy work, animal communication, mediumship, whatever it is, I'll do my very best to help you. So, as you know, if you're one of my clients, you know that you are a part of my community, and that means everything to me. So, I'll always be there if you need me. Okay, well, have a great day. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks for being a part of my community. You guys take good care of yourselves. I'll be back next week, same place, same time. This has been another episode of the Katie Weaver Show here on 1-2 Radio, where we're changing the way you listen to the world.